Hello students. Today we are going to discuss a new chapter, that is Thinkers, Beliefs and Buildings. And the time period that this chapter is covering is from 6th century BCE to 6th century ED. Yes, this is the same time period that we have already been discussing from the last two chapters. Yes, in chapter number 2, we have discussed about the economic and political content. In chapter number 3, we have discussed about the social content. And this chapter is now telling us about the cultural and religious development that happened during this time period. But before starting anything new from the chapter, we are going to read about some of the important buildings related to Buddhism, and one of the best examples of that is the Sanchi Stupa. Sanchi Stupa, well known for its mound as well as the railings and the stone gate. This Sanchi Stupa attracted many of the foreigners in the 19th century, and they also carried with them the plaster copies of this stupa to their countries. But still this stupa is so much fortunate that it was preserved by the rulers of Bhopal, Shah Jahan Begum and Sultan Jahan Begum. From the accounts of John Marshall, it is clear that due to the preservation of these sultans of Bhopal, our national heritage, the Sanchi Stupa, is preserved even in the present days, and it's a very significant monument for us. After that, we are now going to discuss what basically the chapter is about, as the name of the chapter deals thinkers, beliefs and buildings. Actually, the people who think, their religious beliefs and the buildings related to these thinking or these new ideologies. Basically, from 6th century BCE, two new religious ideologies started to develop, Buddhism and Jainism. But this development of these new religious ideology was a result of so many backgrounds that happened in Hinduism and the prevailing religious ideologies. First of all, the sacrificial tradition. We know that Hinduism and the Vedic contents started to force the Hindus to perform many of the rituals, like the kings used to perform Rajasuya and Ashwamedha, and many other rituals were performed by the ordinary people, or the Brahmanas forced the ordinary people to perform these rituals, which were not only the performance of religious rituals, they were now actually becoming burden for the people. Then, due to these problems, the people were having new questions like the meaning of life, the possibility of life after death, then rebirth. The people also started thinking the concept of rebirth due to the past actions, as well as people also began to think the significance of sacrificial traditions. So after thinking and after questioning these questions, the people started realizing that they must have some new alternative, and that alternative came in the form of Buddhism and Jainism. Debates and discussions also deal with many of the groups of scholars used to discuss among themselves related to different Sanskritic text and Sanskritic beliefs, and whoever became the winner in those discussions had to follow. He was also followed by the group which he defeated in the discussions. So ultimately what we see here, that Mahavira and Buddha, they questioned the authority of the Vedas. They also emphasized individual agency. That means they thought that men and women should get the liberation and should get out of the sufferings of their life. So that's all for the